Assembling the right internal team can be the difference between success and failure in your digital transformation project. But how exactly do you assemble that team? That's what we're going to talk about here today. My name is Eric Kimberling. I'm the CEO of Third Stage Consulting. We're an independent and tech-agnostic consulting firm that helps clients throughout the world with their digital transformation journeys. And joining me today is Jonathan Whipple, who's the CEO of our sister company that does staffing. That's called Lander Talent. And thanks for being here today, Jonathan.
My pleasure, Eric. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So Lander is an extension of Third Stage Consulting, essentially providing staffing services to our clients. And so your world of staffing is very interesting and something I want to dive into here today. But before I jump into how to assemble the right team for any sort of transformation team, you started your career in Hollywood. So talk about that. You were in Hollywood and now you're in IT staffing. Talk about that transition.
It's been an interesting journey. I produced TV for 10 years, casting folks on, some of the biggest reality television shows in the world. It was a lot of fun. Everything from contestants to posts, former professional athletes and, just your next door neighbor. It was a blast. And I was having a little one and was like, you know what? Do I really want to be casting people who are going to get married at first sight, or never met each other, right? And it was great fun, right? But I wanted more meaning. You stepping into that new moment in life and was like, okay, I want deeper connection and felt like, where can I take my talents to? And so casting is recruiting. It was very outreach heavy. It was finding people. It was speaking with agents. It was speaking with regular people and sending them a cold message on Instagram and going, do you want to try and compete for $1 million? And so now I'm trying to make sure everybody that I come into contact with, I put them in the best position they can be in their career, or help them grow and hit that next goal. And that really spoke to me as a possibility in staffing. And it's what keeps me loving it every day.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. So you're the only person I know that grew up in Hollywood early in your career and then made that transition over to IT staffing. How has your background in Hollywood and casting, how has that influenced or affected how you approach staffing?
I think it's one of those things like I didn't have a rule book, I didn't have like, here's the way you get this. So I started casting staffing. Like that's how I approached it. I looked for that spark, when you're casting a television show, what you want to do is find the right person for the right role. They have to fit into whatever that archetype is, or whatever that niche is that you need to fit. So that's what I like in the role too. Okay. I need to make sure that we check these boxes. The person is going to hit that talent, is going to, match exactly what an employer wants, exactly what a company wants. But what's going to make them stand out are their soft skills. Is that pop? Is that special thing that makes them that? I think a lot of times you'll come into contact with companies who are like, let me just send as many resumes as I can because these people fit the mold. I want to fit the talent, custom fit. I want the perfect match.
Right.
I want the perfect match.
Yeah, which I imagine there's a lot of intangibles you had to look for when you're casting on a TV show.
Yeah.
And is the same true when you're casting, I use the word casting loosely, but when you're casting for an internal transformation team, an ERP implementation, or any sort of tech initiative that the internal team might be staffing for, is some of that transferable as well?
Absolutely. I mean, what you want, when you're staffing an internal team is somebody that is cross-functional, that can go both directions, that can speak IT, that can speak business. So I think, that's kind of what you're looking for is like this special area that they live inside of. So they might have the technical skill, but if they can't translate that to everyday users, what are they doing? Like you can be the most skilled person, but if you're not able to translate that in common language, it's going to be difficult. Right. So I think getting ahead of that and making sure that that's not even something companies have to worry about is important.
Yeah. So I'm a CIO, let's say, and I'm trying to build an internal team to support my digital transformation, ERP project, overall change initiative. I'm trying to build this internal team. I've also got outside consultants. I might have a software vendor, a system integrator. Those are the real experts, right? Or so a lot of people think. So why is building that internal team so important, knowing that I've also got consultants I can draw from on the outside?
Ownership. If say you're installing air conditioning on your house, you want to be able to know how to turn it on and turn it off. You don't want to just be like, let me call the guy, let me call the HVAC guy and have him come out and set my thermostat for me. You want to be able to own what you're doing. Like, if that's first and foremost, right? I think you really want fit over flash. You want somebody that you want beside you in the trenches. Like, you're probably going to have to come to this person with concerns. You're probably going to have to come to them and they're going to have to fix things for you or improve things, or they're going to have to hear you out. There are times that those are going to be stressful situations. So you want people that are going to fit your company culture. You want fit over flash.
Right.
Got it.
Right.
Yeah.
So I know in our staffing business, a lot of what we do is we provide contractors to the internal team. And so the internal team consists of full-time employees and contractors. When it comes to contractors, how is that any different than if I just go to one of the big system integrators or the big software vendors to get those technical resources?
I mean, they're fully embedded with you. They're there, they're on your team, and you are, they're thinking of you first. That's the main difference. And I don't want to peg every implementer as, they've got people on multiple projects, but frankly, they do often have people on multiple projects, and they're trying to fit who they have available. If you're looking for contract talent that's going to live with you, that we're sourcing, what you're finding are people who are there for your best interest, to make sure you know what's going on, that you're getting the most value, and they're getting the most value out of your implementer for you.
Right. That makes total sense.
Yep.
So what are some of the biggest challenges that you see clients struggle with when they're trying to build out their internal teams to support these projects?
I think there's a real over-reliance on unicorns, just in general. Like, I want, somebody who has X, Y, and Z. And maybe X, Y, and Z aren't, an overlapping skill set. The hope is when you bring somebody in, they're going to be able to cover as much as possible, because you already have dozens of people working on an implementation team through an implementer. But the truth is, one person can't cover everything, and not every, expert covers every area of expertise. So there are often misaligned expectations in terms of what is possible. And that's not to say, I can't find a unicorn, or, the team can't find a unicorn, but there's a lot of great talent out there that can make an impact for you and your organization with you and your investment front of mind.
Right.
Yep.
So one of the big questions that we get from clients is, what is the most important role or roles for me to fill on a project like this? Is there a certain one or two that you think are the most critical, or are they all equally important?
So I think being safe, the most important thing is whatever the client actually has an urgent need for. But if I had my way, it would be the people handling project and program management. It would be change managers. It would be people who own specific business processes. So some of these might be analysts, some of these might be architects, it really sort of depends on what the need is for the organization. But you really want to start with who's running your projects, who's running your programs. That's really what matters to you.
Yeah. So what's the one piece of closing advice you would leave for executives and leaders that are trying to build out the best internal team that they could possibly build to support these initiatives?
The goal isn't just the go live. Success isn't just the go live. It's what happens after the go live. It's what your business is empowered to do moving forward. So that's what should always remain front of mind. Like, focus there. You want talent that doesn't just launch your project, but lands it and takes you where you need to go.
Right. It's great advice. I appreciate being here today. And thanks very much.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Now, if you're looking for guidance or ideas on how to build out your internal team or how to finish building your internal team, be sure to scan this QR code right here, or even go to the links below to get a free project team review. What we'll do is we'll go in and look at your digital transformation or ERP project team. We'll help you identify gaps and help you identify how you can optimize that team to get the most value out of it. And you can do that review using this QR code right here, or use the links below. So I hope you found this information useful, and hope you have a great day.